Hello, class. Well, we start a new week number 3, November 4th. This week we continue with a logic, and this is gonna be during this week and also next week. So, as I mentioned before, this is a very long chapter. Um, Basically, this week what we're gonna do is to build truth tables for different type of logic statements. This is very important. Okay, so I understand based on my experience with this course, in this type of course, that this type of subjects seems to be very abstract for most of the students. Sometimes students get confused when they're gonna start building those type of tables, especially when we have a complex compounds statements. So do not struggle with those type of exercise. As soon as you get confused on this, because I understand that it's a little bit challenging, get in communication with me, send me an email, ask me, Daniel, please help me to understand this better, and I will be more than glad to either make a short video for you, attending your remarks and questions, or we can set up a website for 10-15 minutes, okay, to clarify the doubts that you may have in this part. But please try to make it, try to understand, try to follow the instructional material that is in the course. I try to give you a lot of examples, so in order to make easier this subject. But in any case, if you still have some questions and problems, please let me know. Truth tables are very important because we're gonna be dealing with equivalent statements, and also next week with arguments. Arguments is probably the most important subject in this logic chapter. So truth tables are fundamental to show when we have a valid argument, that is going to be section 3.7, or when the argument is a no valid, that is called a fallacy. And also you may have different representations of statements, okay, but really those statements say or have the same meaning. So how can be used the truth tables in order to show that two statements are equivalent or not? So that's why truth tables are very important. Okay, so let me just to see what we have done in week number 2. In week number 2, we closed chapter number 2 about fact theory. So since that we closed that chapter and we're supposed to finish this Monday the corresponding homeworks, so what is coming by the end of this week that starts today is the first sectional test, which is going to be about chapter number 2. That test is scheduled for this weekend, this coming weekend on November 8 and 9. So you're going to have 2 days to take the test. But once that you choose a moment and trigger the test or launch the test, you need to finish the test. So you cannot stop and resume later on. No, you need to finish at the moment. Well, once that you launch the test, you need to work with your test and finish within the time frame that I'm going to give you. Okay, so please start making the preparation for your test, reviewing all the instructional material that I gave you basically in module number 1. Okay, please pay attention to those videos that I suggest to watch the video, especially the videos regarding Venn diagrams with resets, okay, so the survey problems and so on. Please pay attention to those ones, and also to the rest of instructional material, so you have enough instructional material. So make sure that you're gonna get done with your assignments by this day, okay, which is today before midnight. So in that way, you are making the final preparation for your test. Okay. Well, we introduced chapter number 3 to making the introduction for the different type of statements. Okay, so in those statements we introduce what is called the compound statements, okay, with the conjunction and disjunction. But during this week you are going to make more efforts in some other type of compound statements that are the conditional and biconditional statements. Negations of all of these 4 together with the simple ones are very important, and we need to understand how to make the negations of disjunction and conjunctions statements. So for the negations of conjunctions and disjunction statements, please remember something that we cover in sections 2.4 and 2.3 about Venn diagrams, that is the Morgan's law. Morgan's law will help you to build the negations of conjunctions and disjunctions, okay? So that is something that I want to mention. Then next week, we're gonna finish, no this week, the week ahead, we're gonna finish chapter number 3, and we introduce another chapter, which is personal finance, which is the favorite chapter for the students in this course. But please, let's go through this, and I promise to you that even though the material for chapter 3 looks like abstract material, that probably you are not going to have any practical use in your real life. So you're gonna see later on that when we're gonna introduce arguments in logic, you will see the benefit of understanding all these previous sections. The other thing that is very important is that this week will be posted the board discussion. The first board discussion that I call board discussion number 1, which is about chapter number 2 and chapter number 3. For the board discussion, I include 2 problems, one for sets and another one for logic. The one for sets is about surveys, so survey problems. So please remember to watch those videos that I include about the survey problems, because those gonna be very helpful for your to develop your board discussions regarding the exercise for chapter number 2. And for chapter number 3, you're gonna have a situation in which you need to evaluate some of the compound statements and using the ranking of the connectivities, okay? So that is something that I want to mention. And this is the path forward that we're gonna make during this week. Let me just go to the content. Here in module number 1, those videos that I'm suggesting to pay a little bit of attention are those for section 2.4 to 2.5. Okay, and this is the 2 videos that I mentioned. okay, about the solving problems. So in those type of videos, I'm showing to you two typical examples that you may find in problems related with survey problems, okay? And let me just move a little bit to module number 2. In module number 2, what I want to reinforce is at the end of module number 2, you will find there the board discussions, okay? So here is a description of what the board discussion is all about, and then you need to open this file that is given there, in which you're gonna find the two exercises that I want you guys to work together that address how to solve these problems by discussing between yourself, you and the rest of the class, how to address the exercise, interchange ideas, and so on. So you're gonna have a complete week for doing that, okay? So, and as I mentioned, the first one is a survey problem, and the second one is a logic problem in which you need to decide about the ranking of the connectivities that you're gonna find for some statement there in that problem. Well, this is what I want to mention, guys. And again, for the truth tables, this is very important this week. We're gonna start working with truth tables. Basically, all this week is gonna be working with truth tables. If you have any doubt how to work with the truth tables, get in contact with me and I will do my best to make this part of the chapter easier for you. Okay, thank you.